We're not concerned about anyone else right now. It's Alex Eala time. This is Alex Eala's moment. Our days, our dinners, our evenings are fixated on when she's playing. That's real tennis fandom right there. Love it.
This is so great for tennis in general, I think, having players like Alex out there. And she's so gracious to all her fans. She spends time with her fans, signs the autographs, takes the photos, and really just shows the Filipino community that it is all about the Philippines. And I still carry that flag with me no matter where I go across the world. And such a young woman at that has that wisdom of just what it means to play for her country.
Only 20 years old, such maturity, already a hero to her entire nation. I mean, it's basically Manny Pacquiao and Alex Eala, right? I mean,
that's it.
That's who they're looking up to right now.
No Filipino tennis player has ever seen a number like the one Alex Eala just hit. Additionally, the ranking change was released at the ideal time. She persevered through a match that almost put an end to her Indian Wells career, won it, and woke up the following morning ranked higher than she had ever been in her whole career. The tennis community is currently closely observing. By the end of 2026, how high do you believe Alex Eala's rating can go? Top 10, top 20, or perhaps higher? Post your guess in the comments section right now. Let's put it simply. According to the WTA Live rankings, Alex Eala is now ranked 28th in the globe. That is the pinnacle of her career. She is the first Filipino tennis player to reach that level. She achieved this by winning a match in Indian Wells, California, which she had no right to win in the manner that it transpired, and then appearing totally unfazed when attending a press conference afterwards.
Yastremska left herself exposed when she came forwards. It's a golden opportunity missed. Believe it, after working so hard to get the break. She's been broken right back. Oh. Couldn't have placed it better. The noise is deafening inside Stadium 3. One of the best. But there's just too many errors in her game. Too many double faults. 8 in this set alone. 15 for the match. And it hands Alex Eala a 4th match point. It's Eala's night, and the Filipina wins a blockbuster close to midnight in Indian Wells. Look at the great respect between these two. This was a sensational match. Diana Yastremska more than played her part. Lovely respect between the two, but it's Alex Eala who thrives in these matches. She thrives in these kinds of atmospheres, and she's done it again. 7-5, 4-6, 7-5. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And if not the match of the tournament so far, it's certainly a big contender, and it's going to be hard to beat. I think the support in the end got her over the line, but you've got to feel for Diana Yastremska. She had chances.
Eala dominated the first game and everyone left early, but the victory over Diana Estrika, 75-46-75, was hardly a clear-cut, comfortable triumph. There were several momentum swings, 3 sets, and a fight. Yastremska appeared to be the player who was going to end the match when she broke and took charge of the 3rd set. After that, I carried out my usual actions. When it seemed like there was nothing else to find, she discovered something. Flipped everything around and produced some of the most courageous tennis of her time. She dropped from her official rating of 32 to number 28 on the live rankings as a result of that victory. She is already slated to play Coco Golf in the round of 32 before the tennis community had even finished processing the match. Yes, less than a month after Goff defeated her 6-0, 6-2 in Dubai, Coco Golf, ranked 4th in the world, played in front of Goff's home audience at Indian Wells on American turf. When it comes to Alex Eala's profession, the world has a very particular sense of humor. However, the ranking milestone deserves its own time before we discuss what comes next, so let's not hurry past it. Ranked 28th in the world on the WTA Tour for women's tennis. A worldwide sport with one of the most intense and fierce professional circuits in all of sports, as well as legends from dozens of nations. Being a Filipino player at number 28 in that profession at the age of 20 is not something that is acknowledged with a quick turn to the next article and a casual nod. That truly is a historic accomplishment. Those who have been following Eala since her junior years, when she was winning junior Grand Slam titles and attracting attention on the development circuit, have been anticipating this kind of trajectory to manifest at the senior level. It is now unquestionably present in actual rankings, supported by actual victories over actual professional players on actual professional fields. On the board is the number. It is not debatable. Additionally, her journey here provides a more compelling narrative than just her rating. Because I didn't earn this rating by defeating simple opponents in tiny competitions. She has been competing against players who can defeat anyone on their day on large stages. Additionally, she has been figuring out how to succeed when things get challenging. Thus far, it is the pattern that characterizes her 2026. Consider what she has experienced this season. She is competing against ranking pros at WTA-level events. She is making it to rounds where she will face the top stars in the sport. Because fans follow her from city to city and fill stadiums with excitement that becomes part of the contest itself, she is creating the kind of audience support that tournament administrators notice. She is still developing, identifying the aspects of her game that require improvement, and learning how to handle the mental and physical demands of a full professional season. It was never an issue of talent. Since she was a teenager, her skill has been evident. Every week, the challenge was whether she could consistently match her junior tennis performance at the senior level against players who are more seasoned, physically stronger, and competing for a living. In real time, that question is being addressed, and the answer appears to be more and more in the affirmative. Let's now discuss the true meaning of number 28 in relation to the WTA Tour. Grand Slam tournament main draws are open to the top 32 players worldwide. Eala is firmly within that range at number 28. This eliminates the need to go through qualifying rounds and a preliminary bracket in order to advance to the main event. The largest competitions in the sport, she enters the draw right away. That is a major emotional and logistical benefit. Before the main draw even begins, players that qualify are aware that they have already participated in several matches. Direct entry allows players to save energy, especially prepare for their opponent in the first round, and arrive at the tournament without the cumulative stress of qualifying. Eala, ranked 28th, has earned the privilege of preparing in the same manner as the best players. That is not a minor issue. Knowing you have a guaranteed seat at the table alters how you plan your season, take care of your health, and approach each event. And that figure rises if she can overcome golf and continue to win at Indian Wells. Every victory increases her total and propels her higher because the live rankings are updated in real time based on points gained. At an EMS 10,000 event like Indian Wells, a run to the quarterfinals or semifinals would result in a significant point total and may propel her into the top 20 for the first time in her career, the top 20 globally. It takes a second for the words to land. Because 2 years ago, it was unclear if Eala would be able to place in the top 100 on the senior tour. The question of whether she could enter and remain in the top 50 was discussed a year ago. The top 20 is now a reasonable, attainable, and mathematically grounded result that could occur in this particular tournament. If you lay it out flat, the trajectory is practically ridiculous. Yet, here we are. Let's talk about the elephant in the press conference room. Eala's reward for defeating Estrika is a match against the player who defeated her most convincingly and recently. Coco Gauff at Indian Wells is precisely the type of matchup that puts a player's entire skill set to the test. Gauff is not merely the fourth-ranked person in the world. The majority of the audience will be behind her as she performs at her California home. When you're the visiting player, the environment created by the crowd is really challenging to play in. A stadium full of fans prepared to give your opponent every point is a powerful force that alters how games feel, how pressure develops, and how minor mistakes add up to lost games. In her press conference following the Estrika victory, Eala accepted all of that. The contest would be difficult, she remarked. She stated that she anticipates a large gathering behind golf. She stated that she would need to delve even more than she did today. She went on to declare, "I'm excited and ready," which is either the most self-assured thing a player can say after making it through a match point or a really well-written response that hides the true level of mental preparation going on behind the scenes. Perhaps both, most likely both. Critics frequently cite the Dubai outcome, which is 6-0, 6-2, as justification for stopping the Eala momentum. They are correct to draw attention to it. That scoreline depicts a version of Coco Golf that was performing at a level where Eala was actually unable to discover solutions. On that specific day, the pace, power, and consistency were all too much. A 6-0, 6-2 loss has no twist. Golf gave a thorough performance, and EA learned a lot from it. However, this is the section that the detractors conveniently omit. Prior to the run of victories that have recently propelled her to a career high, EA participated in that game at a lower ranking earlier in her 2026 campaign. The player that enters the Indian Wells court is not the same player who exits the Dubai court. She has increased her match experience. Having overcome challenging circumstances has given her more self-assurance. She has incorporated the particular understanding of what golf performs and the necessary modifications. It is debatable if those changes will be sufficient to alter the result, but it is important to note that the inputs used in this match differ from those used in Dubai. It's also important to remember that EA and Goff have a past that extends beyond their solitary encounters. At one point in their careers, they were doubles partners. This indicates that Eala has seen how she moves, communicates, and interprets events while playing golf up close in a group setting. Although it doesn't always result in a singles victory, that level of familiarity is also not insignificant. Compared to simply watching a movie, you can learn more about your opponent as a person and as a player. The Philippine sports community has been eagerly awaiting the larger image of Eala in 2026. Tennis is a worldwide sport with a well-established hierarchy, and it is actually more difficult for a player from the Philippines to rise to the top of that hierarchy without the facilities, coaching pipelines, and track record of success enjoyed by players from the US, Russia, the Czech Republic, or Australia. Developing a top 30 player in such nations requires significant expenditures. The financial support, themes, early talent identification, and development mechanisms. Over time, all of this builds up to produce players that are well-resourced and battle-tested when they join the senior tour. Since she was winning junior titles and drawing attention at a very young age, Eala's talent, hard ethic, and mental toughness have all contributed to her success. Every time she steps onto a court, she carries the expectations of a whole nation. What she means to Filipino sports is reflected in the fan base that travels, cheers, and floods social media with support following each victory and defeat. Being ranked 28th in the world is more than simply a number. It makes a claim about what is conceivable. It's evidence that the trend was genuine, that Alexa belongs on the senior tour, and that the junior success was a preview rather than a ceiling. The detractors who doubted her ability to succeed at this level, whether her junior resume would translate, and if she had what it took to consistently compete against the world's top players, are currently keeping an eye on the ranking changes. Every match contributes to the same thing, according to the ranking updates. She is not finished, she is here, and she is climbing. Indian Wells is still ongoing. It's almost time for the golf match. There will be a lot of noise. The moment will be enormous, and the opponent will be top. Rankings, however, are unable to adequately describe a player who rallies from a match-point deficit in the third set and then tells the media that she is eager for the next one. She is currently at number 28. The real ceiling's location is the question. And as of right now, no one has a compelling response to that query, which, if you've been following this narrative from the start, is precisely where you've always wanted it to go. That is the complete account of Alex Eala's rise to number 28 in the world and the implications for her future professional endeavors. Please hit the like button and provide your ranking prediction in the comments if this has you excited about what will happen next in Indian Wells. Additionally, subscribe if you haven't already. There will be more ELA coverage throughout the event.